Okay, so hello to everyone again. My name is Valensas Balsevicius. I'm from AJCAD, and you see the name of presentation in the monitor, and this is me. AJCAD is a developer of additional tools for Revit, and we have more than 10,000 users in more than 100 countries across the world. So our promise for our users is to reduce BIM stress. So we try to eliminate unnecessary tasks with our tools. And in this webinar, I'll try to show just precast concrete solution, which will which could increase your productivity if you try it. Okay, so with this suite, you can create elements, insert details, sort elements, and create drawings automatically. And this is the list of tools which are inside the Precast Concrete Suite. So smart walls for wall joint management, then smart floors for hollow core slabs, and smart details for the connections, sort mark for sorting of elements automatically, and then automatic drawings with smart assemblies. So I will just show how these tools work in the presentation, and you will just see now. So I will just turn to Revit, and this is the project. Already I used some tools on this project, and so I will show how to, let's say, insert this kind of connections in the columns, how to insert, let's say, lifting devices in the beams according to gravity points. So how to insert cuts and details, how to split walls, how to create hollow core slabs like this, and finally how to create, let's say, this kind of automatic drawings of column or beam or wall. So this is what we will try to achieve in this presentation, and I will just maybe switch off this one, and we will do that on this project where I have some elements modeled, and now I will show how our solution works and how can we help you. Okay, so I'll turn to level 1 and just go to my tools. And first of all, I will show how smart walls work. So this solution has possibility to create gaps to split walls, and some other features like we have in the first step for decomposed walls, we have possibility to modify, calculate parameters of all the available walls in your project. So you can see all of these elements in your project. You can add any information about them, like in this table you can, just I don't know, add all parameters, overview parameters, change parameters. You can select these walls, filter according to the family or type, then select these elements in the model, let's say, and you can use some additional options from the right-click menu, like you can disallow joins for all of the walls, or copy some parameter values, just do some things from this area, so you can manage some information about the walls. So this is first of all, and then you can divide, let's say, wall into the one multi-layered wall into different walls. So if I will do this command, it will create 3 walls instead of the one. So it sometimes in situations when we have architectural model and we want to separate architectural layers from the structural layers, we can use this command and just hide unnecessary layers and start our work. So it depends on the things you want to create. this option is available, and then most of the features I want to show and concentrate is splitting of the walls. So to split walls, first of all, we have to configure gaps for the wall types. So these are all wall types available in the project, and these are walls used in the project already. So I just assign the gap distance, which will be used during the split operation for this type of a wall. So you can change and assign different gaps. And when you proceed with splitting or shortening picked wall length operation, like in this situation now all the walls are joined. If I will click on this side of the wall, it will be just unjoined, and like this. So this type of wall has 0 gap and this one has 20 millimeters. So it automatically adds these gaps. So I can just go around with my walls and I can separate them just by disallowing joints, and I can change this corner maybe, and so I can go around and just change the way the walls are connected. So one of the feature in this one. Then we have split walls menu over here. So if I will open it, you will see some operations for the splitting at exact points. Where do I want to split? And then some automatic splitting according to the distance. So this may be defined here in the splitting settings. So we can define what should be the splitting distance from the openings, from what should be the panel size when we do the splitting, or if we use maximum splitting, so we can use this option, and so on. So we can prepare some settings and then split our walls. So let's say for the exact splitting of the walls, I can just draw additional grid lines, not the building lines, let's say, but I want to split in these locations. So I create new type of grids and I just draw them in the locations where do I want to split my wall. And I can use this command to split by selected grids. Now I select grids like this. So let's say I can use these grid lines just to coordinate with architects or whatever. Where do I want to make my splittings and so on. So after I select my grid lines, I click on escape and I click on wall again, and once again escape, and now my walls will be splitted in the place where do I want to do that. Okay, so maybe I delete these and I will do that once more over here. Okay, so I will select this one and this one, and I will split this wall in the different parts, right? And now I have this wall where it doesn't matter for me the splitting place, but I want to have as much equal length panels as possible. So I have these settings for the panel width, and I can use this command, let's say, to split from the end, let's say, so from the end of the wall. So let's say now I have all these panels going with a defined width, and then in the end I have just a shorter panel, right? So I can do that. Then let's say again in the intersection point, if I have some specific connection, so okay, so I need to prepare these walls for that. So I can split by core center line with the intersection wall. So I select the wall I want to split, the wall which I want to use for splitting, and I have now split in the corner, in the center line of core face, or at the face, at the core face, or just additional settings you can use. So we can split these elements in different ways. Oops. Okay, and then split in a half, let's say, another option. Okay, so you see you have different options how to split them, and just you can use them just to modify the splitting of your walls and divide your just one single wall into different panels. Then I will switch now to Smart Floor Solution. So we have Smart Floor Solution, which one is with this tool we can create floors. So I will switch to level 4 and I will create just some floors over here. So we have this command insert update floors. Okay, I will use that, and I will give a name for the group of the floors, and now I need to define the boundaries for my floors layout. So boundaries might be beams, walls, grid lines like this, layout and okay, I will select another one here, and then we can assign parameters or create shared parameters to define the schedulable parameters which will be written to the floors. And I select the type of a floor which I want to use. I select to insert holes from the database which is included with the software, or we can just modify these holes. And now I have some information here, like the width of panel is 1.2 meters, so I will have 9 panels of this width, and this area will be filled with these elements. So I will just insert this and click on OK. So you see now floor is created, system floor like in Revit, right? And inside we have generic model family of the holes. So if I will edit this family, you will see like I can edit anytime this family. I can create according to my local manufacturer. So I will edit that, and you can, you know, just draw the profile of the openings according to the section of your local manufacturers. So I'll close down this one. Okay, one more time. Just close down this one. And now important thing is that you can update this group. You see I don't have this right, it just goes to the side of the floor now, but I will select this and I will click again on this insert update floors command, and you will see now I have the same window where I can define, let's say, the offset. So it means like it will prolong my floor. It will update my parameters of the length. I can also, let's say, choose the different end. Let's say, where do I want to distribute my elements, and I can, sorry, this one, and I can update this group anytime. So you see now I will close down this one. So now I have here 2 slabs and 1 massive slab in this area. So it will look just like this, right? So we can do that. So we can change the type of this slab and so on in the dialog window. So we can create these elements, then we can just additionally split these walls, just change the support or update the changes. Let's say if I will move beam, I can update and my floors will be updated, right? So the floor now has these width and length parameters, so you can schedule this information. Then additionally you can insert these holes later in the selected elements if you need to, you know. So let's say I just inserted this family, okay, so to cut also this floor, and so this is one of the ways how to create hollow core slabs. And we released another solution just recently, like floor panel layout. If I will open this one, with the help of this tool you can actually use existing floors. So I have, let's say, this kind of a floor, and I can go again to level 4. I can add split lines, so I can you know, divide the areas where do I want to place my slabs. So now I have two areas, like in this place and in this place I want to insert different different panels, and then I can turn on panel layout planning, and here I can just, by using very similar settings as in Smart Flow solution, I can create the layout of the panels. So let's say I can create this for the selected area. So you see the blue rectangular highlights. So I select this area, then I do the same for this area. So direction of the flows is according to the edge on which I hit. If I will click on here, so it will just have different direction. I will undo that and do the same for this type. Then I have different commands to update, to modify this alignment, to, let's say, join the regions, right? So I can do that. Then I can change settings of panel layout. So let's say I will change panel size to 1.2 meter, and I can, let's say, again, additionally divide this area. Let's say split from selected first. So I will select this and this. So you see now I have these 1.2 meter panels and so on. So you can modify this area, and you can work with this one. When you are satisfied with layout, you can go here to create modify panels, and then again create panels for the wall, floor, or just overview the settings. Again, in the settings you have these options for the offset and of ends. Again, the same kind of parameters for the length and for the width. So you can select them. You can select the type of the holes. You can switch off holes if you don't need them, and then just by saving settings, create panels for the wall floor. And now you see I have divided panels. So I don't have this one floor, I just have divided panels according to the layout I have made, I have planned. So I have these separate elements, and I have the width and the length parameters, so I can, just create my schedules and do the sorting and so on. So this is another solution for the hollow core slabs. And now let's take a look to the smart details. So I will maybe drag the solution from here, because all of the solutions, they could be used from the dock or from the ribbon. So you can drag them and use these commands from here. So I will maybe just use this smart details solution. We have a solution which allows to insert details on different surfaces. So how does this solution work? You have to prepare configurations. I will open configuration window. How does it look? So you select the category of the element, where do you want to place your details or cuts or whatever. And these details and cuts, they could be like line-based elements or point-based elements. And then you just need to define, let's say I want to insert point-based detail on the side surface. I select the family which I want to use from the list or from the family browser, where I see all of my families here. So I select this family, I select to insert it, I select the face on which I want to insert, and then I define the rules. Where do I want to insert it? In one direction, in other direction, in this area, right? So I can define, let's say, in the center with fixed number and spacing, like how many of these elements and what should be the distance between them, the layout direction, from where to start inserting these elements, some offsets if I need to. I can also look for the different kind of connections between my walls, let's say, or between the column and framing element. So you see I have here different layout correction options. So when I prepare these configurations, let's just take a look how does it work. So I will select, let's say, one of the walls, and I will click on Insert Details, and then I have configurations prepared for my wall. So I will select this configuration, and I will click on Insert Details. So in this configuration, I have made such information that to insert line-based cuts on the outside surface, then insert one of the cut for the hollow core slab supports. Then maybe if I will switch to 3D transparent view, I also have like information to insert this kind of detail at the bottom, this kind of detail at the top, and these details at the sides of the surface. Let's see, if I will hit that, you'll see like insert at start and end of the wall. Then I have side offset, I have start and end offsets, and I have decided to distribute these elements according to the maximum spacing. So these elements are inserted. And you can use that in different ways, and I can just show you a couple of more examples. Like I will select these, right, and just structural framing elements, and I will just auto-insert. Auto-insert just reads the configuration name in the properties of the element and use this configuration. So let's say in this case, I have these elements inserted like a cut. I have some supporting elements as a face-based elements on the top of this of these slabs, and so on. So I can just prepare different kind of configurations. Once more, maybe we can select also columns and structural framing elements, right? So I have them here, let's say like this. So I can, again, I will auto insert because I have entered the names of configurations. So let's see now. So it's pretty quick. I inserted a lot of details like concrete corbels. Maybe I can, okay, just go here. Now I have concrete corbels on the top. I decided to insert this kind of connection. Then I have column shoes at the bottom. I have steel corbels at the location with intersection with the beams. So I also have different elements inserted, right? So I can do that like this. Let's say I will go to this view, and let's see now. One of important features of Smart Details that it can read values from the host element, from the column. Let's say when I insert this detail, I can read information parameters from this column. So this column has parameters like B and H, 500 and 400, and this one is 400 by 400. And then during the insert of Smart Details, I can read these values. I can write these values into this detail, and inside the family of this detail, I have this parameter defines the distance between bolts, and this parameter between in other direction, right? So then during the insert, this distance between my column shoes is adjusted. That's why when I insert it into different kind of columns, different type of different dimensions, my my details was modified, and it has like these values from the host element. So again, this you can use in different situations. Let's say the distance of this corbel was modified because the height of structural framing is different, and so on. So this Smart Details has this feature also. And then let's say in the situation when you have different kind of connections, let's say example of this could be like this looks like T connection, right? And this column and this beam looks like L-type of connection. So for the L-type, I have this detail just like this, and this one in the T connection, it's a bit different. It has rebars to both sides, right? So that's because I just look for the T connection in this tab, and in this tab I have L connection. So I can define and insert details as many as I want. So that's the solution with smart details. Maybe I can show one more time. Let's say I will select different sizes of the walls, and let's sorry, I don't have configurations in the properties, so I will do that just by using this configuration. Okay, so let's see what's that. Okay, maybe it's not the configuration I wanted to use. Yeah, I just I will do that again with different configuration because I want to insert plates on both sides. Okay, so I will do that again. So again, if it's based on the rules, it works for different size of the panels, right? Because if I define like the maximum spacing for these elements, so for this wall I will have just more of these elements and so on. And you can, of course, insert just details you need. If then you can move it according to the situation just easily in Revit. So. But anyway, it's much easier to insert all of the details and in all these possible ways. Okay, and then we have I will go now to 3D view, right? So we have details, we have elements created, and now we want to sort them before we start making drawings. So I will switch to sort mark solution, and it has possibility to automatically sort elements, right? So let's see. Now I have, what do I have here for the mark value? Okay, I have some kind of configuration for the columns, but let's do that. I will filter all the columns now. Okay, and let's try to use this element numbering command, where you can select where do you want to insert your sorted value. So I choose mark value. You can create shared parameters or use other shared parameters or type parameters, and I'll click OK. And now we have some default configuration, but we can also create new configurations, like how do we want to sort our elements, then define how do we want to group them, how should be the numbering, according to which parameters it should be changed. Let's say I want to have just unique ID for all the columns. So I will choose ID, then I have some sub-numbering. I can also additionally mark according to the material behavior or structural usage or level or whatever I want to. So I will just maybe do that. I will just add prefix for this one, and I will start numbering from 1, and I will just save this configuration probably and click OK. So for the next project I can use this configuration again. So I have just renumbered 22 elements now. Okay, so all of these elements now have different ID. So this tool has really powerful features, like to sort according to the model line and to group according to the levels, according to material, and so on. So you can use it in different ways for different categories, for the grid numbering and so on. And then we have these mark values. We can start using Smart Assembly solution. I will hide this one. And so Smart Assemblies is for creating drawings automatically, right? So let's say I will select the column. Maybe I can just select a few of the columns actually. And let's try to create assemblies, create drawings, and let's see the result. I'll click on Create Assemblies. And Smart Assemblies works like this. It creates. So now I selected 3 columns. I select the configuration of the drawings. I will get back to this later, but let's just see the result and how does it work. So I click on Create, and then Smart Assemblies will take all the details. So Smart Assemblies will take all the details, host element, and it will create assembly from it. It will create views, which is defined in configurations, and it will place dimensions to these views, and also it will place views on the sheet. So these are the possibilities of Smart Assembly, and we can go now to the Smart Assemblies, and now I see that I have 3 assemblies. If I will open this one, I will go to the sheet. So this is the result I can expect, right? So let's say I have, okay, type of a corbel, maybe it's not so nice, but the dimensions, automatic dimensions for the elements, for the details, I inserted some legends which I defined in configurations, also schedule tables, and all the elements are just made, just placed on the sheet as I defined this in a template sheet. So okay, again, I have the different dimensions for all the elements, or I can just do that for all the different kind of elements. Let's say for this wall, right? I can just create assembly, and let's see another one example. Where is my configuration window? I don't have mark value, sorry about that, so I will add it. Okay, so it's a wall one, let's say apply, and I'll create assembly. So I'll do that just manually for this one because I just want to show you example. Okay, now I will choose different configuration, and I'll create assembly of this one. Okay, so let's see. I also have a gravity point here in this configuration. So if you don't know what it is, and then I will go to the sheet, right? And now I have this kind of automatic dimensioning, automatic placement of elements, right? So I can see these details and views created. So that's the way how it works. And why does it work so way in such a way? Let's say I will open shop drawing configurations, and we will see. So where is it? Okay, shop drawing configurations. We can define here how many views do we want to create, what kind of views. Like a standard Revit use or some flipped versions which added additional by our IT guys. Then you can choose the view type, you can add or change the name of the view, then you can assign view template, you can save this configuration, and you can assign dimension rules to any of the views you create. And these dimension rules, what do they mean? If I will open this one, right, at the dimension rules. So here you can create configurations and save them under different names. And what can you define here? You can define how to dimension main elements. So it means like wall, column, parts, framing elements, foundation elements, generic models. So how they should be dimensioned. What should be the dimension style, how the openings in the main element should be dimensioned, right? So you can define different options for this. Then you have dimensioning options for the face-based metal details. So metal details are just defined inside the family. You just choose this material for model behavior parameter to set as steel, and these rules will apply to these elements. So they could be just defined as geometry, like in every point, or only total dimensions, or you can add model lines inside family of this detail, and dimensions will snap to this model line. So it means that you can create any shape of a detail like this, right? And you can just add model line inside of this family, and dimension will snap only to this model line. Then we have some dimensions for the concrete details. So you can choose between total and all dimensions, and dimension of rebars. So again, in different sections, how they should be dimensioned. So this applies to the individual bars and so on, so area bars and so on. And then we have options for the dimension nodes, how they should be, or should we dimension, or maybe we should not dimension any openings, or what should be the name of this opening in the drawing. And then in the end we have just like, where do we want to place these nodes. So when you define these options, you can assign this to different view. Then we have another tab for the schedules. Again, we choose the schedule we want to create, as many as we want, and we use the schedule templates. So schedule templates as the actual schedules in the Revit. It's not view templates, it's a schedule templates. And then sheets. So you can assign the already created sheet to be as a template sheet. So it means that when you create assembly, you can drag views on the sheet and use that sheet as a template for other elements. That's why I have these already drawings placed on the sheet. And I have them on the sheet in this project. It's because I have a template project where I have all my all my assemblies created. So if I will open that template project, I have different assemblies here created with sheets and drawings placed on the sheet. And you can, let's say, take a look to different elements, how they were created here. You can also create two sheets. Let's say one sheet is for the formwork and details, like in this example, and other sheet is for reinforcement of a wall. Let's say, yeah, this is something similar. You saw that already. Another one is for the fabric sheet, so we don't have that. Then let's say the Holocaust lab, it's automatic dimensions and views. Then column with some reinforcement schedules. Yeah, just formwork and beam with reinforcement. Let's say it could look like this, and yeah, something like that. So you can use smart assemblies in different ways, and just the way you need, maybe, I hope. So these are a few examples of this, and probably that's it. That's about the solutions of the AJCAD which I wanted to talk about. But if you need other solutions, like for different disciplines, we have some solutions for the family management, for the framing, some specific who works with wood framing or metal framing structures. Then we have some small add-ons like to import Excel or place quick dimensions or work with dynamic legends. Yeah, we have solutions for MEP and some BIM tree manager. So you can have all these tools for 2 weeks for free trial. So we use tools for BIMDoc, which you can just download from our web page. Just download this one and then install it and get trial by filling some form, and you can use it and get support or additional demo for this. So that's it. I think that's what I wanted to tell, and